Hi, this video is for people that are looking to live a more flexible lifestyle. And in order to live a more flexible lifestyle, we need to have flexible income, flexible employment. So this is all about how to create that flexible income so that you're not dependent on one employer and one set schedule. This is the map that we're going to be using. It's our escape plan. So let's get into it. The first thing on our escape plan is skills and interests. Now, your skills and interests are what you're going to leverage in order to trade them for money effectively. So if you're in a job at the moment, you are no doubt showing up each day and providing your skills. And that's a really great starting point. The challenge is that the employer is acting as a middleman between you and the client, so to speak. So your boss is taking the majority of that income and then you're getting a small portion of it. And that's quite fair because they're taking on all of the risk. So with that in mind, we now need to figure out a way to get rid of that middleman. And the fastest way to get rid of a middleman, in my opinion, would be to take your existing skill set and then find your own clients so that you're working directly with the people paying rather than the client paying your boss and then your boss paying you. So let's take the scenario you are a person that happens to not have any skills. Well, first of all, I would say you probably do have skills. Look at your interests first, because your interests often accidentally cause you to gather skills. So in my case, for about 15 years now, I've been producing and writing music. And as part of that interest of mine, I learned the skill of audio production. And I was able to combine that with a new skill, video production. And now video and audio obviously are very important. And that's a really high value skill set that I had cultivated just through my interests. Now let's say you've looked at all your interests and you still don't think you have any skills. Okay, maybe you don't have any skills, but the internet is your friend, my friend. So in my situation, I learned the majority of my audio production and video production stuff from just looking on YouTube. Honestly, I think you can learn anything you want on YouTube. If you don't want to stop there, you could go on to something like CourseCareers, which is a company that I have a partnership with, and they offer self-paced education courses online. So it's kind of a nice middle way between going to an expensive college or whatever to learn skills that probably aren't that applicable in the real world, versus with their model, you kind of learn things that are gearing you toward actual employment opportunities, be it in a company or taking that skill set and then using it on like a freelance basis. I have a link in the description to their website. They offer a free introductory course. So that's a good way to kind of try and see if you're into something before going ahead and committing to it. So if we look back at our escape plan on the skills and interests, I've got two little offshoots. We have service and then we have avoid product. The reason I say avoid product, if you're looking to, get started on your journey of becoming self-employed and having that flexible lifestyle, is because products are very complicated. There's so many different skills required in order to create a product, package a product, market that product, sell that product. That process in itself can take years of ideation and trial and error, and it also requires a lot of upfront money that you might not have. So I would steer clear of that, and I would also steer clear of cheaper options like drop shipping or print on demand, because the margins are very small and you still require a lot of upfront capital to test the advertising, because it's very rare that you're going to find a creative ad that works and sells your product immediately. Like you probably are going to have to do a lot of trial and error. I mean, I have a creative agency and I make hundreds of ads for different companies, and the main philosophy behind paid advertising in the social media age is that you just try as many ads as possible. So you can spend 100 grand on 100 ads and only one of them converts, but that's all you need, is just the one that converts. So there's a lot of risk involved if you're trying to sell a product in any capacity. So then we have the second offshoot, which is service. The quickest way for most people to start replacing their current income or just generating a new income altogether is through offering a service. The reason for that is because you probably already have the skill set, or if you don't have a skill set, you can go acquire one. Now, once you have the skill set, it's just a matter of finding somebody who needs that service from you. So one of the services that I offer is video production. Basically, the way that works is a company or a business or whoever needs a video. I can make the video, or I can at least organize the video to be made. So within a day, I can literally meet a client, find out what their problem is, identify whether or not I can help them with it, and then agree a price. And it'll be a yes or a no. So you can go from literally making no money to making, say, 500 euros. We're going to get onto pricing later, but let's just say hypothetically, I meet someone on the street. They say, David, I need a video. I'd say, oh, I could help you with that. And then we can have that deal closed and then we can shoot the video the next day. That money's in my account. That's the power of providing a service. you can really just do it overnight. Now, some services are obviously going to take longer depending on what the scope of the project is or whatever. But now you might be wondering, how do you get clients? And that's a great question. So we're going to look back at our escape plan. And the next part of our map is bringing us down to this POW, proof of work. It's very rare that someone is going to trust you without a referral from another person who's worked with you, or without some evidence of your body of work. So now that you have a skill set, your proof of work is going to be the best way for you to leverage that skill set in order to trade it for money. So I have offshoots here, portfolio and case study. So my portfolio would be some of my previous work, so that a client can see that and then have an idea of what they can expect if they decide to hire me for my services. So you could set up a website. I personally use Squarespace for all of my websites, and I've probably built about 5 websites with them over the years, and I've had everything from e-commerce stores to just my portfolio, and now it's kind of thedavidbolton.com is my main website, which is where I have information on my digital products and my consulting offers, because I do creative mentorship for people that are looking to build a personal brand, which we're going to get onto later in the next step of our escape plan. However, you might be wondering, how do I make a portfolio? I don't have any clients. Well, the beauty of the world is that you don't really need clients to have a portfolio as such. So let's say you're setting up a creative business and you want to do branding. So you want to design logos for coffee shops. Well, what I would do is I would just make up a coffee shop, and then I would make up a logo, and I would maybe do that a few times across a few different niches. That could be your portfolio. For video, what you could do is like spec commercials is what they say. So when I first started my business, what I did was I just went around my cabinets and took out the different coffee brands that I had, and I just made a bunch of different little coffee ads. Now the next thing here is our case study. So a case study and a portfolio sometimes go hand in hand depending on what space you're working in. A case study is basically you showing the journey of someone that you helped. So where they began and then where they ended up after you stepped in to help. So this is important because it's just going to give potential clients confidence in you that you transform this person's situation, so maybe you could transform theirs, and they have a bit of an idea of what they could expect from you. If you've actually come from a job yourself, then you could always try and identify some situations that you've been involved in work and try to, take a case study from that. So maybe it wasn't explicitly your client, but you could say, I helped this person do this in my role as this. Get creative, but please be aware of the importance of being perceived as someone who has, worked in the world, because we just find it hard to trust new people. I get people emailing me every day trying to pitch me different services because of the YouTube channel here. And I just don't trust any of them because they don't have a website. Their English isn't great. Maybe their email address is very unofficial. So all of these things are quite important. Now, your proof of work is something that you're always going to be building upon. I'm personally building upon my proof of work every day, be it with different client results or different projects that I work on, or, this channel here is a proof of work as well, which we'll get onto in a moment on personal branding. But now that we've got a proof of work dialed in, we're going to have to start telling people about what we do. So the next step of our escape plan is marketing. And I know that's a scary word, but it's just telling people. That's all it is. It's capturing the attention of people that may be interested in what you have to offer them. You don't need to be afraid of marketing. The truth is there are people that have problems and they need the solution that you have to offer. So once you realize that marketing all of a sudden is like a service to other people rather than a service to yourself. I think a lot of the time we look at marketing and think, oh, I'm bothering people because I'm asking them for money. Look at it this way instead. When you're marketing and telling people about what you do, you're basically just going around trying to find the person that is trying to find you, because that's the truth of it. I remember when I did door-to-door sales for 10 days, it was a very short stint for me. I'm not much of a door-to-door salesman, but I knocked on one door and I was selling a TV package, and they answer the door, and usually people are just like, go away. But this guy was like, I've been waiting for you to come. So he literally was waiting to sign up to this television subscription. And he just needed the salesman to come to his door. And so we were able to help him out. He paid the money, we got the commission, and everybody was happy. So obviously door-to-door sales is one way to market. It's not something I personally do. But here are 2 things that I really think are important for anybody, regardless of what business you're in. So the first thing is your personal brand. A personal brand is effectively an offshoot of your business. So in my case, you're watching this video on my YouTube channel. This is my personal brand. Now, my actual business and the services that I offer, it's not YouTube videos as such. The YouTube videos are my marketing. The actual services that I offer are creative consulting. I offer mentorship. I help people grow their personal brand, and I help them with their confidence. And I also make videos as well. So by having a personal brand, two things happen. You get to know me. I also get to show you what I'm capable of, because a lot of my videos are quite cinematic. This one is more just me sitting down talking, and this would be more to help people understand how I could potentially help them with, you know, their specific problem. Now, the beauty of the personal brand is that some people watching might sign up to my newsletter because they decide that they like me and they want to learn more. And that's also where I let people know about the different offers that I have. People that watch these videos might also be interested in the coaching services that I offer, in which case there's a link in the description which takes them to the intake form for that. So your personal brand is the top end of your business funnel, basically. So it's kind of like a leaflet, but it's a lot more personalized because you're a human. So people relate a lot to me because of the things that I talk about here. And I find that the people that give me the most value are people that are sharing their unique experiences. And so that's why I'm here to, you know, share my experience, because A, it helps people for free, and that's fine, that's great. There's also a side income because of the ad revenue and sponsorships and stuff like that. But the other thing is that you're just constantly making people aware of you and what you have to share. And a lot of the people that check out your personal brand are people that have challenges that you could probably help them with. So just like I helped that guy who wanted to sign up to that TV broadcaster, some people are watching this video and they need help, you know, learning where to find skills, or they're struggling to find the confidence to talk on camera. So these are all the things that I'm offering to people, and I let people know about how I can help them with the content. So if I was starting out, one of the first things that I would do is I would pick a social media platform that I felt like I could consistently create on, and I would start posting content relevant to the services and interests that I've identified in the first step of our escape plan. Now there's a little offshoot here on the marketing side. It's called attention. And in brackets we have CP. CP stands for Charlie Puth. He has a song called Attention. You just want attention. You don't want my heart. Well, I don't know about the heart part, but wanting attention is a good thing. Whether you like it or not, anything that you're aware of has caught your attention. Tesco is the supermarket here in Ireland. Their affordable prices caught my attention. That's why I go back every time. There's a sauna in my community here, and it's really good value, and it's a really, really, really great experience. It's caught my attention because it's a good price point. I'm happy about spending that money there, and it's a great experience. So they have my attention, and I keep going back. I keep going back to Tesco. In this world, we're all ashamed to want attention. But the truth is, attention is vital in order for you to have your problem solved. The reason you buy anything, it's because it caught your attention. The reason you don't buy things is because it didn't catch your attention, or it caught your attention in a negative way. So there's certain brands that I won't go to because I don't like what they do. There's something they're doing that's caught my attention, and I put them in the category of, ooh, not for me. But then there's other ones that are doing things that I really like and admire, and so then they're in the category of, oh, I want more of them. So you want to capture people's attention. And of course, you're not going to capture everybody's attention. It's not possible. The people that like McDonald's are probably not the same people that like the smoothie shop that does organic green juice. They have different interests, they have different desires, and so their attention goes in different places. So don't be ashamed to seek attention, but just ensure that when you are, you're doing it in a way that is in integrity and is geared toward solving the challenges that your potential clientele might have. Now, our final little offshoot here in the marketing is networking. There's infinite ways to market something. You could go door to door, you could go door to door restaurants handing out your business cards, you could email people, you could text people, you could call people, you could message them on Instagram. I would say the best thing for you to do is just test these all out and see what you enjoy doing and what works for you. What I personally found works best is the personal brand approach, and then networking approach, I guess that I call it, but it's not really networking, it's kind of just living my life. So what I will do is when I'm out and about interacting with people, if the conversation goes there, I'll just mention what I do. And sometimes people will actually be in need of your services in that moment, or maybe they know somebody, in which case you just got yourself a deal. So when we shift to this kind of new way of like living and earning money, we kind of blur lines a lot more. So like work isn't as straightforward as going to work and clocking off. And you might be surprised the different ways that you end up finding clients. So be open to all of the possibilities, and don't be afraid to tell people what you do, even if it's not something that you're making money from yet, because I know imposter syndrome is a huge issue when it comes to people starting a business for the first time. And on that note, we're going on to the next part of our escape plan, which is talking about pricing and getting paid. Even as someone who's been doing this for several years now, I often wonder, what should I charge this person? Am I gonna ask too much and then they go with someone else, or is this amount just right? And the truth is, every time I make like a new all-time high, I always think to myself, oh, could I have gone a bit higher? And so I don't know that that will ever change, but so long as we focus on providing value, it shouldn't be an issue. Now, when I started my self-employment journey, I was definitely undercharging for a long time. I had a conversation with someone who was much further ahead of me in the game, and that totally revolutionized my approach to it all. And I asked him how much he charges, basically. And it's always such a taboo thing, like, to talk about money, and people freak out because, like, you could have a job like a 9 to 5 and you get paid X amount per hour, and then you could have your own business and you tell people how much you charge, and people are like, oh my god, that's ridiculous. But they're completely different situations, because a business has all sorts of business expenses to pay. So if you're making €500 an hour as a business, you're not making €500 an hour. That's revenue. If you're making 500 an hour as an employee, yeah, you're making 500 an hour. But with a business, like, there's all sorts of costs, like software, cameras, lights, equipment, transport, fuel. So don't look at it as one for one, because it's not, it's different. But anyway, that's a side tangent. My friend that I was speaking to, I asked him how much he charges, and he told me how much he charged. And I was awestruck. And he said, yeah, if they're serious about it, they'll usually say yeah. And if they're not, then you're probably better off without them. And so this was like shortly before I was about to quote a new client of mine. And I took on his advice and I said the price, which was 3 times the price that I was charging at the time. And so I sent the message and I was like really nervous, and the client said, sounds good. The only thing I did different was ask for more money. My point is, the worst thing that can happen is they say no, in which case, so be it. There's going to be more clients that you can help. And the second worst thing that can happen is maybe they try to negotiate, which is fine. So usually what I would do is I'll anticipate a bit of negotiation, and I'll put in maybe like 10 or 20% over what I actually want, with the expectation that they'll try haggle down. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Either way, it's a win-win. And of course, the busier you get, the more reputation you get under your belt, you can start to increase your price as well. So if you can find something that's very particular, then you're going to be able to charge more, because there's less people that can do it. And the beauty of the personal brand, if we move back to that step of our map briefly, is that you are the only you. I am the only me. If someone wants to work with David, they got to work with this one. And so I can charge a premium there because I'm scarce. You're scarce. You know, certain brands are scarce, and that's why they charge more. So if you can tap into something very particular, be it your personal brand or a very particular service, you're going to have an edge over other people that are doing more generic things. So now I have work for free, question mark, and then a wow face. When I was starting out, I was watching all of these videos about manifestation and law of attraction and stuff, and people would often talk about knowing your worth, knowing your value. And I think you should be considerate of what your value is. And that also means be considerate of the possibility that there's no monetary value on you right now. So if you're really starting out and no one's ever paid you for your work, then it could be a good idea to work for free, because you're gonna get your proof of work up, right? You're gonna get a portfolio from an actual client in real time, and maybe they can give you a testimonial. So that's really valuable stuff there. Now, another situation that you might work for free is if there's a different kind of value exchange. So like, not all value is represented by money. Like, value is, you know, in everything. It's just a matter of whether you place it on something or not. So I'm actually doing a shoot this week for free. And the reason I'm doing it is because it's a friend of mine and it's a group of people that I would hang out with otherwise. So I'm kind of just going there to hang out and shoot stuff. So, you know, I can make the video because that's what I do, but I'm also going to be just hanging out and socializing and seeing some friends. So, you know, I'm doing that for free. And maybe I'll meet someone there that potentially needs help that they can pay for. Or maybe I'll just make a new friend. Or maybe I'll just have a nice day out by the sea. You got to weigh up yourself whether or not it's valuable for you. So depending on your situation, it might not actually be a bad idea to work for free. Don't get caught up in the ego trap of like, oh, I got to know my worth and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes working for free is a short-term investment for, a long-term reward, because you never know, the person that you help out for free, they might end up having a lot of money down the line, especially if it's like, an early stage of a business or something like this. But just be careful. Don't be doing too many free things, because if you do, then you're gonna have no money. This is something you need to feel into for yourself. But I suppose the point here is, don't be afraid to charge low or charge nothing if that investment of your time is going to pay off in a very profitable long-term relationship. So far in our escape plan, we've kind of covered the bulk of the practicalities of business. But the next part of our escape plan, which is to kind of keep us growing and keep us, providing value to our clients: humility, deliver takeout, and breathe deep. The most beneficial thing for me in my business has been to accept that I don't know it all. Maybe I have blind spots and I'm missing out on things. With humility, it means that when a client isn't happy, you don't get hot-headed. Instead, you breathe deep and you realize, maybe there's something I'm missing here. Maybe the client's right. And with that mindset, it allows me to have, more productive interactions with people, to help them solve their problems, to help them with whatever they need help with. And when I realized that, yeah, I have a skill set, of course, I wouldn't be here if I didn't, but that's not enough. There's so much more. Like, we're all here playing this game of life together. There's certain things I'm good at, but there's certain things I'm not good at. And even the things I am good at, I can always get better at them. So I'm always learning. I'm always humbling myself. I'm always realizing, areas that I could have done better. And that's so important to really sustain this, because otherwise it's very easy to just get lost in it and then kind of end up burning out and not being able to sustain yourself in it. The little box here is deliver takeout. The reason I have that there is because this whole escape plan, it's definitely viable, but there's a lot of uncertainty in it. And sometimes having a gig job like delivering takeout is just a useful way to kind of keep the anxiety at bay, because you probably have bills to pay. So if you're totally reliant on your business to generate income at the beginning stages, it might be very stressful for you. So it could be useful to just do some delivering on the weekend or any other kind of side hustle that is a guarantee pay, because that'll help ease your mind, which is going to help you approach your escape plan and your business with more calm and ease, and not from a sense of scarcity, and more so from a place of, okay, how can I help people? Like, how can I be of service? And that's inevitably going to result in the success of the escape plan. I can't believe I'm calling it an escape plan, but I just thought it was kind of catchy. So now that we've looked at all of that, the next thing is restart. And if we follow the map here, we end up back at skills and interests. So this is where we basically do it all again. Maybe you add an extra string to your bow. So I started off doing video production. Then later on, once I had kind of gotten to a good standard with that, I decided to move on to creative coaching and consulting. And then we go through that whole process again. So we need a proof of work. So it's like, I need to show that I've helped other people, and this is how they felt after, working with me. And then we move on to telling people about it. And now we have the personal brand still, and we're always building here. And then the pricing, we still ask the questions. How much should I charge? Should I work for free? Da 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 da. And then we always come back to humility, breathe deep, and if you really need to, deliver takeout. So that's how you can escape wage slavery and, build a life that you love and are happy about. And it'll probably drive you demented a lot of the time, but that's part of the game. Have a great one.